Welcome to Biz Alchemy, a podcast about creating a new business paradigm by women, for women. I'm your alchemical host, Jacquelyn, and I'm going to take you on an extraordinary adventure to create a business filled with ease, fun, spaciousness, and abundance. Hustle, be gone. Let's birth a new way. In today's episode, I'm chatting with the delightful Annita Keane, who, as her accent will give away, is Irish, although her accent won't give away the fact that she is now based in Boston in the US. Many of us have moved from careers that almost seem like the antithesis to what we're doing now, and Annita is no exception. She was a biomedical scientist before suddenly shifting. It was very sudden, her change, and she moved into angel healing and teaching. But because she had no business training, she struggled to find her balance as an entrepreneur until she discovered human design. And Annita now incorporates human design in the way she shows up in her business, as well as teaching it to entrepreneurs who want to understand the way that they are designed to be in business. In many ways, Annita's work is so aligned with mine. You know, they dance together quite beautifully, because when I'm talking about the new paradigm of business, I'm talking about ease, flow, abundance, spaciousness, and knowing your design helps you to create a business that leads to those things. When you're fighting against your design, you are going to struggle in business. So why not make it easy for yourself? Now, one thing Annita and I didn't do was go into the nitty-gritty of what human design is. So if you've never heard of human design before, I suggest that you do an internet search. You can bring up your chart. You can get free charts on numerous websites. And then you can go and visit Annita. We'll talk about that later if you want to know more about how your human design can reveal the best way for you to show up in your business. So, over to Annita. Annita, was there a turning point when you realized you had to move away from the traditional patriarchal business model and create a new paradigm for your business?
Absolutely, Jacquelyn. Basically, I burnt out. I woke up one morning in the middle of August and I could not get up out of bed. So I decided at that point there was something drastically wrong with what I was doing and how I was running my business. And I knew I had to change everything. So I had moved from working in a hospital and 24/7 emergency work, and I applied that same system to my business. Never going to work, right? So that was what happened. I had a burnout where I couldn't move pretty much for 2 weeks. And it was just recognizing that my self-care was more important than anything.
So you went from a job into business.
Yeah.
And so basically, do you feel like you had what I call this new paradigm of business? Had you pretty much worked that out from the start, or has that been a journey for you as you've been in business?
Oh, I think it's a consistent work in progress. I left that job about 15 years ago, and I'm still tweaking to get my balance in order, you know. I mean, it's funny. I thought because I went from biomedical science into pure energy work. And I thought because I was doing what I love, and, you know, it was energy work, it was so easy that I didn't need the same personal care as usual. But I burnt out then, the same as I had previously. So it was funny how recognizing that and moving to business from a job was like moving into the personal development Olympics also. Have you noticed that?
I have definitely.
Exactly. I was there kind of going, oh my God, you know, work is one thing. You show up from 9 to 5 when you're working with professionals, but working with clients was a completely different ballgame. And the personal work that I needed to do as well was amazing. But you know what also struck me, and it's become clearer in the last couple of years, is how our working with our gifts or our spiritual gifts really is tied hand in hand, spirituality with scarcity. with you shouldn't be paid for this, with our old witch wound blocks that I learned with you a few years ago when I started working with you, or working with our spiritual gifts scared the crap out of us for a reason. We're bumping up against all those old gremlins that fight being in our natural abundant space. So I was really stunned. I didn't know what I was getting myself in for. Really, it was like a whole other education in life. Beat my degrees and everything else that I have behind me,
Yeah, exactly. I agree completely. I'll often say that our business journey is like one of the biggest self-development journeys we can go on. And so not only are we learning how to be in business, we're actually going through this major self-development stuff at the same time, which, really comes back to, I suppose that leads into your work now, because it's about knowing yourself. Because the more you know yourself, the easier that pathway is to show up in business.
Absolutely. What I do now, my whole business is based on balance every day, day to day. And I support women entrepreneurs who want to create a lucrative business, doing what they love, sharing their gifts without burning out and without killing themselves in the process.
So do you want to talk a little bit more, Annita, about what you're doing now?
Totally. My business has evolved over the years. And so a couple of years ago when I worked with you, Jacquelyn, which I thought was amazing, you really helped me align myself with what I secretly, truly wanted to do, right? Which was move out of the corporate arena and stress management and working with people who kind of, one person would call me in to work with 15 people. They were brought to the table by duress, as opposed to working with you. I kind of lined up with working with people who wanted to work with me, who chose to work with me. And what I do now is I really help people to learn the truth of who they are. I use human design to help them understand, well, what is your business style? Most of us tried to, I know I did, I tried to fit myself into whatever business or marketing skill set I had trained in, rather than adapt the skill set to me. But I didn't know how I was wired to work. If someone said, well, do it your way, and I'm kind of there, well, I don't have a business background. I would do it my way if I knew it. So using human design as a roadmap, I teach people what their natural business style is, how they're wired to manifest, their reliable decision style, which I think is core to everything. Because my journey and my work has been follow my yes, follow what lights me up. And that's easier said than done, as you well know yourself. And the other thing is, when we are up leveling and scaling up, what are your unique fears and what are your unique saboteurs? Because when you know what they are, it really makes it a much easier journey to navigate those scale ups without burning yourself out, number one, but without thinking that there's something wrong with you when you go through that wobble. We all go through that wobble when we're growing. And then, of course, what to do about those saboteurs and fears, how to befriend them, so that what we really do is we're joining the gifts. I teach people how to do their business from the inside out. What do I mean by that? I think we've been doing our business outside in for a long time, doing what we think we should, doing that authoritarian, as you described, or how did you describe it? Patriarchal model, kind of, but that was designed by men for men, let's face it.
Exactly.
That wasn't designed for women. And so helping people to deconstruct their current business strategy and include themselves in the picture by knowing what their balance parameters are, knowing how they leverage their energy, know how they're wired to make money. And it's just a game changer.
So I'm wondering personally, Annita, how has knowing your human design type changed the way you operate in your business?
Oh my goodness, it was a complete game changer. As I said, when I started, I was working 24/7 emergency work, and I literally was on call all the time. I don't think I had a boundary in sight. So for me, learning that I'm a projector type and learning that I am wired to leverage my energy. I'm not the Duracell bunny. I'm not the marathon runner. I'm the sprinter. And I'm really wired to work to rest. It helped me to plan and schedule my time and my energy effectively so that I was able to maintain a balance. So, simple things like I thought from my mind that I would love to travel. I would love to travel and bring my laptop everywhere I went, and that would be great. But in reality, I love to travel, but I love to leave my laptop at home. So I love to organize my travel time in a way that I'm either settling in the place for a significant amount of time, but I don't travel and try to work anymore. I schedule my time accordingly. So, for example, you might like a 9 to 5 day, whereas I'd be much happier with an 11 to 3 day. So it has made a big difference. And of course, my decision style. That's the biggest thing. Lining up my inner wisdom, my inner yes with my decisions. And so instead of chasing ideas and thinking that they're my ideas, to be able to assess, really fine tune what ideas will actually be lucrative business ideas for me. Because, we all have loads of ideas. It's trying to chase all those ideas, trying to make them happen is what burns us out, right?
Exactly. Now, I'm just interested, talking about these different business paradigms, is there a particular design type that actually does thrive in that traditional patriarchal model?
Yes and no. I think the generator and the manifesting generator types have that energy to burn and have a lot of energy to go. But what I find is if they are trying to do things in their business that they're actually getting a gut no for, they drain their energy as well. So we all need to be aligned with that inner yes so that we can go the way we're supposed to. But I think the hard work model, almost like slave model, doesn't work for anybody, to be quite honest. We all have our balance. We all have a balance point. My husband is a manifesting generator, and he genuinely, it's hard to stop him. Like, he's just, if you know what a Duracell bunny is, do you? They have an ad in England about these batteries. They go on and on. The batteries go on and on and on. They beat all the other batteries on the shop floor. But he genuinely needs his downtime, needs his energizing time, his fresh air, his exercise, the same as I do. But he definitely would go for longer than me. He would definitely be a 9 to 5, loves his routine, loves his structure. So that business style, I think we all need to be following our yes, full stop. And I think that's doing business from the inside out. Well, are you getting a yes for this? Because if you are, fantastic. You have the energy to go with it. If you're getting a no for it, but your mind thinks it's a great opportunity, you don't have the energy for it and you drain yourself. But also when you're stressed out, of course, you're going to see opportunities and like threats instead of opportunities. Because they're going to say, oh God, that's a fantastic opportunity. I just don't have the time or the energy for it, right? And as you know, most of our opportunities don't come with rainbows and roses. They usually come through a challenge.
Exactly.
So being able to navigate the challenge from that space of balance is how you take your shortcut or your path of least resistance through it. So I guess the generators and manifesting generators can utilize that model pretty well, but I really do think we all have our breaking point.
Yes, exactly. So actually, as you're saying that, I'm going to throw you in the deep end here a little bit, but you know a little bit about my chart. You know that I'm a generator. We've done some work together before, even though it was a while ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if it could be interesting just to give a little, almost like use me as a bit of an example for suggestions for how I could show up in business. Am I putting you too much on the spot there? But I'm just thinking for our listeners to just have a little bit of an understanding.
Totally. And you are throwing me in the deep end. I will just check out your chart here so I'll be able to tell you. Okay, so the best way I could give an example of your chart and how you're wired to work is, first of all, your yes, no, in other words, your decision strategy is your gut instinct. So that to me is the money mover in the business, because when you get an idea, You have an open head and ajna. So when you get an idea, it can often be ideas for others. You're designed to be open and curious so that you pick up other people's thoughts, makes you a brilliant coach. And what can happen is you need to be extra vigilant about what ideas you follow through with in your business. So most people would say, oh, I'm getting a yes for this idea. And I would say, take it a step further so that you can say, well, okay, I'm getting a yes for this. Is it a lucrative business idea for me? And deepen the questioning around the idea so that we don't waste all the time and energy trying things out before we start, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So that's the first thing, just deciding what to go with your business and understanding what's lucrative. Often we might love something. We've been told to go with our heart, but for you, it's your gut, because your heart center is open. So you'll get a heart yes. You get a heart yes to lots of things. Again, not necessarily business ideas, right? Not necessarily lucrative business options. So to me, that filtering process is critical for you to begin with. Kind of like help you align your direction. So your business strategy, you do have energy to burn. You're a generator, sustainable energy. And when you're in your balance, that's when your energy is at its best. So people feel very safe around you, which means you might be inclined to attract the Klingons. And so understanding with your manifesting your clients that you attract people with solid boundaries will be very useful for you, okay? All these things that throw us off balance, also when we're off balance, it throws off our prosperity. So as a generator, you're designed to, once you get your idea, to practice it and schedule it and get the information pieces together and put it into practice with your clients. When you are out of balance, what you'll find is, do you drive?
Yes.
Okay, well, when you drive a stick shift car, a generator out of balance is like running a car at 100 miles an hour in first gear, right? So when you're aligned with your energy, when you get that gut yes for your idea, you're aligning your energy, and it's like a Maserati going 100 miles an hour in sixth gear. It's just like humming and a really wonderful energy sound working from your main generator rather than from your emergency generator. So that balance is critical. Our relationship with our business is the same as our relationship with anything, or the way we relate to anything is the way we relate to everything. So for you and your business, you need to be careful that you don't set up power struggles for yourself. So when you're marketing, you're actually designed to share the story, to share your own experience, your heart-centered experience of how you got to this position for you. And you are wired to help people to find their direction in life. Literally, the best direction for them to express their creative essence or their genius or their creative self. So my example was when I work with you energetically, you don't have to do anything. Me sitting into your energy, you line me up with my creative self-expression. And the most easy way for me to do that in my business. Now, as a generator with that 4-6 energy, you're a natural teacher. So your marketing would be really useful to be based on an education style. So here's my experience, or here's how I impact my clients, and here's I can also do this for you, will work beautifully with your marketing or sharing your message. And you will find this year in particular, where the north node has moved into Taurus and the south node is in Scorpio, you will find that you'll be getting a lot of clients or magnetizing a lot of clients that actually want to bring their spiritual gifts more into their business. Are you finding that?
Yes.
Yeah, big time. Removing from everything in the head into a space where the whole world is looking to connect more deeply with themselves. And so your business strategy would be to stay connected to that gut yes with everything you do. I think that's just the core of it. But your nodes, your south node is in Taurus as well. So you'll find this would be a bumper year for you, actually. because that's your kind of direction. What happens is North Node, South Node is that we bring to work with our soul. This is what human design helps us do. It helps us know what our soul wants and how we can bring that into our business. So for you, your soul wants to do business with ease. It wants to connect with the most pleasurable way to do business possible, but it's through the deep transformation of the Scorpio essence.
Thank you, Annita. And I know just the sessions I did with you, 2020, I think we worked together for quite a while, and that gave me so much clarity about exactly what you explained there. Thank you so much for sharing that, because it really helped me shift the way I show up in my business. And what I'm also interested with, just to expand on that a little bit, Annita, is you refer to the prosperity pathway. So what exactly do you mean by the prosperity pathway?
The prosperity pathway is having the courage to make money from sharing your gifts. It's your inner game of making money, your inner game, your inner ability to be in abundant flow, your mind, your body, your emotions, and share your gifts and shine without apology and make money doing it.
So it doesn't necessarily just refer to business?
It doesn't necessarily refer to business, but it's kind of it's the stage of your spiritual growth or your personal development that you're ready to share what you want to do without wondering or being worried about what anybody thinks. So it's really sharing your genius or your essence, your spiritual gifts, literally. It can show up anywhere. To me, abundant prosperity is not just about money. It's about flow in your relationships, in your health, in your wealth, and in your personal satisfaction with life. So when I relate it to business, I really teach people how to get out of their own way, to do that business by themselves. Because as I said, when we want to do a spiritual business, we're meeting that Piscean wall. We're meeting the wall of but spirituality and scarcity go hand in hand.
Oh,
does that make sense?
Oh, yes, Annita. And there is so much demand for this.
I know.
So much demand. Oh, I love that you're doing this work. I love it. So how can listeners learn more about you and your amazing work?
Oh, absolutely. How they can do it is they can sign on to my website, www.annitakeane.com. I will offer them a soul blueprint reading for $187 instead of the $333 that I'm normally charging. And basically, I have 3 ways of working. I do that soul pathway because some people call it the soul purpose. I call it the soul pathway. We've gone through the natural path of life by the time we get to our stage, right? We've gone through the school and the prerequisite of what we should do in our life. But when you're spiritually growing, to develop that, it's knowing what your soul does. So the soul reading helps you to understand how you're wired to shine. What are you here to transform? You know, what is your decision style? What gets in the way? You know, what are your natural inner blockers? And of course, how your soul is designed to evolve. You know, we have a beautiful pathway. For me, believe it or not, my soul pathway is to bring balance into day-to-day everything, work, life, whatever, so that we can recognize our saboteurs before they recognize us, before they derail us, right? That's how I help people transform. So as a result, I'm really good at sabotaging. And I'm an expert. So I can teach people how to spot their saboteurs and how not to move. The second thing that people can do with me is I have a lovely low-cost membership group. It's a little bit like your business playground. It's to do with learning that manifesting and business, just blending your balance with your business and your manifesting, but at a low cost. So a very simple group setup. And then the Oasis is for for people who are really sick of wasting time, money, and energy chasing brick walls with business strategies and styles that don't suit them, and are ready to dial in what is my business style and how do I stay in balance and make money while I'm doing it. So that's kind of my year-long program, which is deluxe. So sign into AnnitaKeane.com and you'll see it all
Okay, beautiful. And you might send me those 3 links perhaps, and then I can put them in the notes here so people can go direct or just go to your website and search them all out. And are you on social media, Annita?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Beautiful. We'll put those links there. That would be wonderful so anyone can follow up. So, do you have a takeaway for our listeners?
Takeaway. Yes, I do. I really do have a takeaway. I think key to all of us answering or following our yes or our bliss in our life is knowing what that inner yes is. So my takeaway would be every thought that you think in around your business, question it. Just ask very simple questions. Do one of Jacquelyn's super grounding exercises and ask your thought, ask your body, is this thought for me or not? Is this idea correct for me? And the second question, is this a lucrative business idea for me? Or is it just something I'd enjoy doing, right? Yes, no questions, and feel into what your body is answering for that question. And the third one is, will this light me up also? Okay.
Very important.
So important, right? Because we're women, we help everybody. We always put people first. So what this does is no matter what you do, you're setting up, I win, I'm coming with a full cup. You win because I'm sharing my gifts with you. We all win because you're paying me for it. Just to be very simple.
Perfect. Oh, that's wonderful advice, Annita. Thank you so much for sharing it with all my listeners. And they can now go to your links and follow you and find out more. So thanks, Annita, for being here.
You're very welcome. And thank you, Jacquelyn, for lining me up with this. You know, we have our gifts, but the direction in which we go with them is a game changer.
Thanks for listening to Biz Alchemy. I'm Jacquelyn Atkins. If you'd love to know more about the energy of business, subscribe to my newsletter at jacquelynatkins.com/newsletter and join me on Insight Timer, where I have a large meditation library and do regular live classes. Until next time, enjoy creating alchemy in your biz.